Alright, so Stranger Things Part 2, Season 4 Part 2 just released. We talked about the first half, but what did you think about the last two episodes? It was like 3 hours, pretty much. It was like a movie. Yeah, what did you think about it?
So, first thought when I think about the second part of Stranger Things, it was really long. It was like a long episode, but they told us it was gonna be long. But like when I was watching it, I was kind of thinking like, damn, this is kind of like the first episode. I kind of thought like, damn, this is kind of too long. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy the second one. And then when I watched the second one, I was okay with it. I was okay with it being that long.
I didn't really like the first episode. Episode 8. I didn't really like episode 8. I like episode 9 more than episode
That's
8.
why I was thinking. That's why I was thinking like, man, I don't think I'm gonna like the second one because like the first episode, you're kind of just like sitting there, it's like, man, it feels too long and nothing really crazy is happening.
It's just focused more on 11 and what was going on with her and getting her powers back and shit. And then, yeah. So right when all that ended, and then she linked up with Mike and then that's when it started getting interesting.
Yeah. Another thing is like the Russian part. Like, I didn't care about Russia. I never cared about. Not I don't care. Of course, I like the country, but like that part of the show. You know what I mean?
That storyline.
I didn't care about that storyline at all. So it kind of felt like I was watching like a you know those soap operas how they have like mad storylines. I felt like I was watching a soap opera where like they were showing a storyline that I didn't care about, and I just wanted to skip on to the next storyline. And I feel like they just didn't know what to do with Hopper, but they didn't want to kill him off, so they had to do that whole storyline just to like have the character there. But in my opinion, I don't think the character needed to be there at all this season. They could have just kept him dead.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have had anything for Will's mom to do, so it's like they just kind of like they had to make things for everybody to do, which makes sense to a degree.
Yeah, but when you think about like scary movies, like, cause this gives off the vibe of a scary movie. Parents are not usually really that involved. It's usually like the kids or the teenagers that know everything that's going on. So the parents don't really play a full part in scary films typically. That's why I think both characters, the mom could have just been at the crib, like the other parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She could have just been doing nothing. But I know the actor. What's the actor's name? The actual her actual name.
Winona Ryder, something like that.
She's a famous actor, so they probably they want to have her in there.
I mean, people like her character too, so I mean, she's been doing the same thing for the past 4 seasons, so it just like whatever to me.
Yeah.
But nah, I felt the same way. But I like how they tried to make it connected, even though the more you think about the shit, certain shit doesn't make sense. Like, how the fuck did they bring a Demogorgon to Russia and nobody noticed? How they bring the dust to Russia?
Yeah.
How did, like, you know, like there's certain shit. It's just like, I guess.
I also was wondering, like, I really felt like when I was watching the Russian scenes, I really thought they were gonna really like make it connect to 11 somehow. I thought like Russia was somehow involved with the Upside Down. Cause like, why else would you bring Russia into it? You know what I mean? Like that whole thing.
It's just to have like an outside conflict.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. And I was like, maybe, possibly, like I always try to like find justification of why they do with what they do with films. And I was thinking maybe it has to do with like a spin-off show, because there's rumors. We heard like there's rumors there's gonna be a spin-off show. Maybe Russia's gonna be more involved. That's what I was thinking. And then another thing that I liked about this part was the you really kind of feel for the characters while you were watching the show. And there were several scenes that like almost made me kind of cry when I was watching it.
No, yeah.
And it's hard to make me cry, bro.
I think all the actors are good, so it's just, you know, obviously. Like,
yeah.
I feel like every actor is pretty good in the show. Like, there's no bad actors. I think what would have made the Russia shit make more sense is if they made a portal. If there was like a portal in Russia that could lead, like, somehow you could go through the portal, you'll be in the Upside Down, then you go to another portal, and then you'll be in Hawkins. I thought that was gonna be how they got all the shit from Hawkins to Russia, how they got Hopper to Russia, and like all that shit. I think that would have made more sense. I thought that's what they would do, but they never ended up doing that. Like that's why I was like, okay, so if they found a portal, they'd be able to go back in Hawkins and help, but they were just stuck in Russia.
Yeah.
Like,
So what would you say is like your favorite part of that episode?
I don't know. Everything about episode 9 is my favorite part. Episode 8 wasn't hitting, but everything with Max and Lucas and them was lit, and then everything with Eddie and Steve and them, that was fun. But then the Russia part was just taking up too much space.
I would definitely say my favorite part.
I'm charging, by the way. Switch.
I would say my favorite part of that season would be the bond between Eddie and Dustin, and then the scene of him being like attacked by the bats. Because that scene, bro, like that scene felt so real. I was like, damn, like when he was holding him on his arm, like he was like, oh God.
Fun fact, they weren't even there when they shot that. Like Eddie shot his scene like a couple months ago, and then Dustin shot his scene like recently.
So they weren't really together?
No.
That is crazy. Cause that shit felt so real. I was like, oh damn, like he's crying.
I'm hip.
I was like, yo, I kind of felt like a little.
Nah, I didn't.
Nah, you didn't give a fuck?
No. Eddie is a good character, and it's just, I feel like as a show, you have a responsibility to when you're killing a character off, it can't be a nigga you just introduced. It just can't. Like, for me personally, for me to feel, like, it was still good just because both of the actors are good, but me personally, I'm not gonna feel it.
It was more so for me though. It was more so it's because of Dustin.
But even then, it's still like we didn't get enough of that relationship, regardless. Like, because within the first episode, he gets accused of murder.
That's the same thing you said about Demon Slayer.
Yes, but even with that still had a little bit more because we saw Rengoku prior. We'd never seen Eddie before. We never even heard of this nigga until now. And another fun fact, fucking the girl, I forget her name, Casey, the one who dies, the first girl who dies, the one I forget her name, but cheerleader? They shot her death scene before they shot the scene where she was buying drugs from them. Yeah. And then the directors realized that they had a lot of chemistry, and they said that they regretted killing both of them off because they had chemistry, and they just planned on them dying regardless of them. Like now, like Eddie's like mad popular on TikTok and shit. Like, so it's one of those things that was like,
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that. How like they kind of seemed like they could have been like a possible relationship. Yeah. But then I heard about that part too. And it's crazy because when I was watching it, I was looking at it more of a friendship thing.
No, yeah, but you could tell it was the stereotype of the high school girl, and then the cheerleader, and then like the weird kid get together.
The misfit,
Yeah. That's what you could tell that was building up. But
what I don't get is how her boyfriend like was not involved with her at all. Like she didn't hit him up.
I mean, but do you blame her? The nigga's crazy. Like, what was she? She's like, yo, I'm seeing things. Like, what was he gonna do? Like, he was about to be like, yo, go to church. Like, you know, like what?
He said go to church. I don't think he was that religious until you saw what happened. Like, he never mentioned anything about religion.
But he didn't have enough screen time to really dive into that regardless. But the fact that his first instinct was religious cult and shit is just kind of...
But think about it. If you saw something like that, what would be like your first instinct of thinking? Like, think of it as a person that's not into the whole supernatural thing. they're gonna probably gravitate towards like religion, something that they truly believe in.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably think it was like aliens or something.
But the show did do a good job of showing that he was like a preacher type character. Because every time when like something would happen, he would preach to the whole crowd. It's either whether it was his basketball team or the school.
I'm hip.
Yeah, so it kind of showed that he. But it's kind of cool too with the shows that they create villains that are not like villains. You know what I mean? They're just people like who just don't understand what's going on. Like Billy wasn't a villain. He was just getting taken over by the mind flayer.
I'm hip. But he was just still like an asshole type.
Yeah.
But yeah. I still find it funny they haven't mentioned 8 yet. I feel like that's weird. You should probably mention her.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess that's just something they just don't want to talk about. Because that's the lowest rated episode of Stranger Things, that episode.
Oh, man. Hold on. I haven't heard about 8 in a long time. Didn't she have like a different power?
She had the power to make people see what they wanted them. She wanted them to see. Like,
yeah.
The way they made it seem like was that each of them had different abilities.
Yeah.
But then in this season, they all have the telekinetic ability. So just another thing that they just don't talk about anymore.
It's kind of crazy too when I see Stranger Things. It makes me think of Akira because of the whole friend having telekinesis powers, and you find out like there's another kid that was like the original one that had like the strongest. It's like the same idea, and I think they said Akira was kind of like responsible a little bit for the show too.
Maybe.
But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, overall I think it's still like it was enjoyable to watch. I liked how it felt. It did feel like a movie, but I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I feel like the next season is not going to be able to answer.
But did you feel like they answered some of your questions? Because I remember the last time we spoke about it, you said something about like whatever happened to that strange spidery beast, and how did it connect to Will? Do you think they answered it at all or no?
I feel like they retconned a lot of things because if Vecna was truly there from the beginning, I don't feel like what would be the point of the mind flayer? Like, what would be the point of like the Demodogs? Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like if all he needed to do was kill 4 people, what was the point of kidnapping Will? What was not killing Will? What was the point? Like, there's a lot of things that's just like, what are you trying to set up for?
I just didn't understand how like he would pick his victims because I think there's only a certain way he can kill them is through their guilt.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody has guilt. Like,
I think he was only able to get into someone's mind and then kill them through like some form of guilt. But like it has to be like something that's daunting on their mind always. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because the reason why I say that is because Max was like constantly thinking about Billy and what happened with Billy.
No, I'm hip. Even that, it's just like she keeps on fight. She keeps on like saying to herself, "Oh, I should have done something." It's like, what the fuck was he gonna do? She's like, I should have stepped up and like what? Like, what was he gonna do? That's what I want to know. Like, what did she think she could have done to prevent any of this? Like, Billy was fucked since the first episode of the last season. Like, he was fucked instantly. Like, there was nothing she could have done at all.
Some people are just like that, though. Some people just blame themselves.
I see it more as because she wanted him to die. That's why she regretted it.
Yeah.
But it's like, nigga, he deserved it. Like, I don't know. Like, he was a good nigga. Like, I don't know.
I don't think he was too bad to the point where he needed to die.
Yeah. He definitely should. Nigga, he was racist. It's up for you.
He said he was racist?
Yes, he didn't like Lucas.
Damn.
He said stay away from his kind and shit like that. Like, that's why you need to rewatch the show.
That made me drop a little points a little bit.
He was,
I don't know. I'm a pretty good guy.
And then there was a lot of shit that made it seem like the way Billy first came off in the show, it made it seem like he was like touching her. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way he was like talking to her. Like, it was real weird. Like, I didn't get what they were trying to go for. Like, It was just real weird. I don't know, but overall, like I couldn't know, like nobody could tell me that they actually gave a fuck about Billy's character.
When I was seeing him, I thought it was like more of envy, because when they weren't really siblings.
No, I know, but
I thought it was like more.
It was either in my head, it was either he was beating her or he was like touching her or some weird shit. Like, like why you care who she's talking to, like who she's friends with, like shit like that. Like it was just weird. Like I don't know.
I mean, he cared who he was talking to because he was black. If he was racist.
Oh,
you know what I mean? If he's racist, he's not gonna want like black kids. Like, he's gonna want some Caucasian.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, one still doesn't make sense to me. What if I find out next season that his overall goal is just to destroy the world? Come on, that's it. Like this is, I don't know. I just feel like. The reason why I didn't like one creating the Mind Flayer is because it makes the universe feel smaller, like versus like if the Mind Flayer was really the top nigga and then like he gave Vecna power to kill people so he could come out, that would make more like that would be like okay, there's more to this universe than just this one god like figure sending monsters out like. If that, I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder if 11 was able to create that universe. But they said it was like the way how they were speaking about it. It was there before.
Like that's what I mean. They're not specific.
But what I don't understand is that why did when they went to the Upside Down, it was at a specific time.
It was period. Will. Yeah,
it was at a specific time.
Yeah,
period.
it was the day that Will got taken.
So it's like. Was it there before Vecna? Like it was confusing. That's what was confusing me. Like,
and is kids having special abilities regular? Like, they just like he just found out he had powers.
Yeah.
And then he just started torturing his family. It was like okay, the way why the reason why I understood 11 was because they said that her mom was doing they were like experimenting on her mom. Mm-hmm. Which made sense, like, okay, like, she was doing psychological drugs or whatever. That's why she's, like, fucked up or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, like, why she has some type of something. But this thing of one he just got it.
Out the womb.
Yeah.
It's naturally.
And how the fuck is he taking his DNA and putting it into other kids? How does that make sense?
So there's been talks, like, I was kind of confused because some people were saying that the kids were just like him. And they had the ability, and I was like, "That doesn't."
He literally said word for word, like, he started splitting my DNA and giving it to the other kids or some shit like that.
Okay, because I thought that too. I was like, why are some people saying no? The kids actually have the abilities.
That doesn't even.
Was 11 the only one that was just a natural, just like him?
I mean, was she even a natural? Because they said she kidnapped her when she was a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I don't know.
There's so
what
much,
makes her special from the other kids? That's what I'm
literally.
trying to figure out.
There's no reason other than she's the main character.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought she was probably like another natural, like she was just born with the power as well.
I don't know if they'll explain that next season, but that's what I mean by they answered questions, but the answers they gave me weren't satisfactory. Like they should have I'd rather them just not answer it than give me a shitty answer. Cause without 11 doing the Vecna thing. Would the Upside Down even would exist? Like, there's just a lot of questions like that. And it's like, so in that Upside Down, is it just Demogorgons just running around? Like, like, and if there are, then how the fuck did Will survive? Like, how, like, there's, yeah, I don't know. Also, can Demogorgons get shot or not? Like, there's so many scenes in the show where they shoot the Demogorgons and they die. And then another scene where they shoot them and it just bounces off them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inconsistencies.
The first season too.
Yeah, like, bro. Yeah, literally, like, spraying him and it was bouncing off him. It's just like, what can hurt it and what can't? Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of shit. Yeah, it's a good show, though. I get why people like it, but I feel like the hype that the show has, I feel like there's a lot of plot holes that people are just not talking about just because they enjoy the show. Like, they just, oh yeah, sure. Like, the fact that nobody ever brought up 8 ever again, I feel like that's a That's a bad thing. Like, that's not a good thing. That for you to just have a whole episode focus on a character and never bring her up ever again. Not even the doctor, Papa, never talked about Eight. Like, where is she? Did she go fight? Did she go? She was killing people who were on the list of who tortured her or whatever. Why didn't she kill Papa? Like, and yo, Papa's dead, bro. He died in the first season. I don't give a fuck. Like, nobody could tell me that nigga died. The Demogorgon killed him. Like, killed him.
Maybe that was just Eight, you know, just making an allusion to it.
That was the first season. Like, literally the first season. 8 would have been like a kid at the time. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to like destroy the show, but it's still like it's a good show.
It's still entertaining.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
there's some parts of it I'm like I'm confused.
Like I'm going to watch season 5. Definitely, I'm gonna watch it.
So do you think this season was better than all the other ones?
Yeah. Except for 1. I feel like 1 is peak like entertainment. Like it's all this episodes are great. Like everything flows well. Like the first episode, I feel like you literally find out about everything. Like it's just such a good first season. But there's a reason for that because they worked on the first season for so long, trying to get it like bought by networks like Netflix and shit until Netflix bought it. Second season, they literally have to make that 9 months after.
So what did it go? It goes 1 to you, and then 4.
Yeah, then 3, then 2.
And 2. Yeah.
I feel like that's for everybody.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So you want to give it for a rating?
So season 4, I'll say 1 out of 10.
I'll give that shit an 8.
Yeah, I feel like it's 7.9, 8. I'll just give it an 8. Yeah, I feel like 8 solid. Like it still looks good visually. Music is good. Like the acting is good. It's just like story, but that's not too bad. Like at least they're not gonna like make it into like 17 seasons. Like I feel like at least now that they have a ending in mind, hopefully they actually like finish it. Like.
And I know probably people are gonna get mad about this, but I think Max would have been dead.
Yeah, man, they should have killed Max. 100%.
Yeah. I feel like they could find a way to make season 5 without her. Right?
No, 100%. I think they killed Eddie just so they didn't have to kill Max.
Yeah.
Because they needed a death in this season, and they didn't want to kill any of the other seasons, any of the other characters because they're going to do a season 5. Mm-hmm. So. And I feel like Max's death could have impacted season 5 heavily. Like,
yeah.
Like Lucas. Like, what would have happened to him? 11. Like, all that. Like, Max's death would have been. Even though to go on top of that, Max is like such a whatever character to me. Like, they introduced her in season 2 as like a love interest. Mm-hmm. That's all she was at that point. Mm-hmm. Season 3, she was just Lucas's girlfriend and Billy's sister. That's really like all she really did. Mm-hmm. And then in this one, it's just her regretting whatever happened to Billy. So like I feel like, in my personal opinion, they should have killed one of the 4. Mm-hmm. One of the 4, that would have been like, yo, yeah, they're doing it. Like if Will died,
I don't think it should have been Will, because Will is like he was gone. The whole
no,
it should have been someone like significant, like
Dustin.
Yeah.
I feel like Dustin would have been the perfect character, but I feel like niggas would have stopped watching the show because like Dustin's such a he's such a it character.
Everyone loves him. But I feel like since everyone loves him, it'll be such a big crazy like shock, and it'll make a huge impact into the show, and it'll probably make all the characters like
get serious. Think about it. They can't kill Mike because Mike literally is. Without Mike, there's 11. Like there's no 11. Like, he's the 11 nigga. Like with 11 wouldn't be fucking with them without Mike type shit. Yeah. And then they can't kill Lucas because Lucas has literally nothing to do in the show. Like he's just there. Like you know what I mean? Like they have to have him do stuff. Like Lucas has no like plot line type, if that makes any sense. Like if you took Lucas out of this show and put him with somebody else, it wouldn't matter. Does that make sense? Like Dustin specifically, he's a good character. Like I feel like by himself, like he could carry a scene like him just doing himself. Like I don't think Lucas could, but I still fuck with Lucas though. But yeah, they couldn't kill Will because Will, other than the first 2 seasons, nigga's not doing shit either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nigga got the little shit on the back of his neck. That's all he's doing for them. Like, he's really not doing shit for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like Dustin would have been the perfect character to kill out of the four because he has no other ties. Like, his mom isn't in it like Will's mom. Like, he doesn't have a girlfriend like, yeah, he has a girlfriend, but he doesn't, like, 11, like, he doesn't have, like, a girlfriend like 11, like, or Lucas, with Max, like, he doesn't have any of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I feel like Dustin would have been the perfect character to kill, but, I don't know, they just pussied out.
I feel like we sound so evil saying someone's died, but it's like, I feel like with a story, like, and a story specifically like this, a horror story, someone has to take it out.
It adds stakes. Like, so in the first season, it was 11 who died. Obviously. Second season, it was who died? Second season. Them dogs. Oh, it was fucking the superhero thing's stepdad. I forget his fucking name. Bob. It was Bob who died. Even though I don't give a fuck about Bob. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, Bob died. Third season, Billy died.
Yeah.
And then this season, Eddie. But it really should have been Max, in my opinion. But I feel like they didn't want to just cut her story like that. They wanted to add more, but that's their fault for not adding more prior.
But this season was kind of lit because it rarely happens, but the characters like took a complete loss.
No, yeah, they did lose.
They did lose the whole time. Beckman won basically.
Yeah.
And they didn't kill him. If they killed him, it would have been somewhat of a win. But like the whole Upside Down has access to Earth now. So
yeah.
They lost, and I feel like it raised up the stakes from season 5. It's like, oh shit, they lost. So it's kind of like, is it gonna be like the vibe gonna be different? Are they gonna be like, is it gonna be more like a war type movie where like they're fighting against like the creatures of the fucking Upside Down? Or
one thing I think the show was lacking was having a civilians aspect of what the fuck is going on, because every person that finds out what's going on doesn't believe it, or it's like instantly is like somewhat of like a bad guy. Like the dude, Chrissy's boyfriend found out, but he was still like, nah, this is some demonic shit.
Yeah.
Like Billy somewhat found out, but he was still like, yo, like I don't want you hanging out with them. Like he was still like negative somewhat to a degree. Like I feel like what I like about how this season starts, I was like, or ends with how everybody finding out, like, you know, why is it snowing? Like seeing the perspective of everybody, like seeing what the fuck is going on, because this is something you can't really explain. Like versus like prior, you could be like, they said, oh, it was like a Russian experiment or something. Like you can't explain this shit. Like the fucking giant crack and the fucking volcanoes and shit. We can't explain that shit. So it's like I like this. I don't want to see like Lucas's parents seeing like, where the fuck is my kid at? Like shit like that. Like I want to see everybody reacting to what the fuck is going on versus just our main character. Because what's going on is not regular. Like this is some demonic evil shit.
They said the next season is gonna be like in 2004, right? I said 2024.
I just know it usually takes around like two years.
Cause like the characters are aging, the actors are aging
a lot.
So I was thinking it's gonna be like a more serious movie. That's a more serious show. When it comes out, like it's gonna be like everyone's gonna actually like use actual weapons. It's gonna be fighting, like it's gonna be crazy, like a crazy like horror film.
I don't know. I don't really have any expectations right now. I do want. I'm excited to watch it, but I don't have any. I don't know how they're gonna end this. But I feel like it's gonna be just one of those things where Vecna is like, I just want to destroy the world for being mad at him, for not liking me, not accepting me, type bullshit. And
Wasn't he saying that he didn't like humans because he felt like they weren't like
yeah, he was like ostracized type shit. Like but it's just like
they weren't perfect creatures or something like that.
Whatever the fuck he was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Glamour of wearing diamonds. Diamonds bring status, elegance, and prestige. Their brilliance makes